Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by Asilo. Asilo is a clinical and psychological horror tabletop RPG. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment as well. And make sure that you use my code for a special discount. Now, tonight, I am continuing with the review series featuring Magi-Knights Awakening. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this magical girl Super Sentai inspired tabletop role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about skills and checks. To solve various tasks, you need to carry out checks. And how do you accomplish this? You roll a d20 and add your total skill to the roll. If you meet or exceed the difficulty check, also referred to as DC, you succeed, and the Magic Keeper or Game Master will explain what happens as you successfully sneak past that office employee, or how your teacher congratulates you when you pass your English or science class. Or if it's failure, well, it's going to be very different, right? In Magi-Knights Awakening, your character will typically lean on their strongest statistics to give them the best chance at success in any given situation. But this is not as strict as it would seem. Various skills could be tied to different attributes. So, different statistics. In the case of, let's say, athletics, depending on the sport, on the activity, on the physical task, you could use your strength or your dexterity as a modifier for that check. Or when it comes to influence, usually you would think it's charisma based, but what if you are trying to impress someone through your physical prowess or intimidating someone through your strength? Then instead of charisma, it would be logical to use strength. And you have an entire list giving you various options, like you could handle investigation either with intelligence or through wisdom. Or maybe you want to apply the charisma bonus to purity instead of wisdom. It all depends. Now, there are various nuances and I would say some very thematic and interesting rules concerning skill checks. When attempting a skill check that only a single person should be the focus of, such as a persuasion check, time should be taken to choose which person in your squadron may be the best at the task. And I will recommend that you handle this in character in order to preserve the immersion and the roleplay, of course. You can't have immersion without roleplay. In a tabletop RPG game, at least in a tabletop RPG session. Now, what if you fail your skill check? Of course, it could be just failure, just that. But you could also handle things with success at a cost. You are successful at the check, but a negative circumstance or event occurs. You can also handle things via failure with consolation. This means that although the character or squadron failed their skill check, it could be a skill check handled as a group, their attempts seem to have a temporary or lasting positive consequence. So that's very cool. You see, you can choose depending on the context. As a game master, you can describe that the task failed, but there is some positive variation or side effect because of that failure. Or it could be the other way around. You succeed, but that causes perhaps even a domino effect that will hinder your progress down the line. Now, there could be multi-skill encounters. Sometimes a complex task or difficult situation blocks the Magi Knights from continuing in their endeavors. And it may be that One cannot be solved with only a single skill check. In these situations, a multi-skill encounter can occur. For example, in a dynamic situation where a building has caught on fire, a squadron of Magi-Knights is potentially trying to guide the occupants out of a burning building. So, part of the squadron could focus on putting out the fire, while the other members could be helping people escape. It could be handled in various things, and this is a fertile ground for creativity. You also have inspiration points. A Magi Knight can only have one inspiration point at any one time. If a Magi Knight gains an inspiration in excess, they can give it to another Magi Knight who has none. You can roleplay this exchange. You must roleplay this exchange, I would say. You use it before the end of the round, or they can activate an inspirational bond boost. If the point is not spent, it is removed with no effect. Inspiration points are important for players, as it allows them to reroll a d20, gain literal inspiration, and a resource used to fuel many other abilities. You gain inspiration by becoming the student of the hour, or perhaps conversing with the herald during the free time phase. And you can use it to, of course, reroll any single die you just rolled. You can use inspiration for your student abilities, perform a combination of maneuvers, maybe use the burden of leadership ability. There are so many ways to employ these inspiration points. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to talk about spell paths. That is going to be the focus of the next part in the series, spell paths. Skill checks are very thematic thanks to those additional rules. Failing with a consequence, rather, succeeding with a consequence, or failing with some positive effect down the line. There are many complex situations both in fiction and in real life, and these two possibilities add a bit more when it comes to shades or granularity to the result. Thank you for watching this part of the review. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the super thanks button. You can also check out the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, in tabletop role-playing games, it's not about what you want your characters to do. It's about what your characters are doing. Once again, thank you and see you later.